Someone in your life is manipulating you right now. Not a stranger, not someone you vaguely distrust, someone you eat with, someone you work beside, someone whose name just crossed your mind in that pause. And the sad part? It isn't what they're doing. It's that they don't even have to try very hard to do it. Because you were never taught to see it. You were taught to be nice, to explain yourself, to keep the peace, to give people the benefit of the doubt, over and over. Even when that doubt is the only thing they're counting on, you were taught to talk, to defend, to justify, to clarify. And every single time you open your mouth to do any of those things, they win. Here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. The most powerful people in any room are not the loudest. They're not the most aggressive. They're not the ones with the best argument. They are the ones who have mastered something that takes most people a lifetime to learn. And some people never learn at all. Silence as a weapon. Not the silence of someone who has nothing to say. The silence of someone who has already won and knows it. There is a version of you that walks into every room unreadable, that sits across from a manipulator and gives them nothing to work with, that never defends, never over-explains, never chases, because you understand something they don't. Reaction is surrender. And silence, the right kind of silence, is the most devastating response you will ever learn to give. I'm going to show you exactly how to kill it. 7 genius ways to outsmart manipulators without saying a word. Ranked from the easiest thing you can do today to the single most powerful shift you will ever make. The one that doesn't just protect you from manipulators, it makes you untouchable to them. Pay attention, especially to number 1. Let's go. Point 7. The controlled blink. Master your micro-reactions. Before a manipulator makes a move, they study you. They're looking for the flicker, the jaw tighten, the quick blink, the slight drop of your eyes when you feel guilty. These are called micro-reactions. And to a skilled manipulator, your face is a roadmap that tells them exactly where to strike. So the first move is this. Give them nothing to read. Not a frown, not a nervous smile, not even a blink faster than usual. Neutral eyes, relaxed jaw, a face that says, I have heard you, and I am entirely unmoved. Here's what happens when you hold that stillness a beat longer than feels natural. They become uncomfortable. They start to wonder, did that land? Do they know? What are they thinking? You've said nothing, done nothing, and you've already won the opening exchange. Picture this, you're in a team meeting. Your manager makes a comment, subtle, pointed, implying the project delay was your fault. The room glances at you, waiting for the reaction. The old version of you reddens, shifts in their seat, starts to explain. The new version holds eye contact, slight nod, expression unchanged. The manager repeats themselves. Slightly louder this time, because silence from you was not the response they planned for. And just like that, without a word, you've made them the uncomfortable one. Train this in low-stakes moments, a frustrating comment, a passive-aggressive text. Build the muscle now, so when the real moment comes, your composure is automatic. Control your face, control the frame. That's where power starts. That's number 7, the surface layer. But what happens when they go deeper than your expression, when they come for your emotions? Number 6 closes that door completely. Point 6. The emotion vacuum. Remove the reward. Here's something most people never realize. Your emotional reaction isn't just a response, it's a reward. When you feel guilty after a guilt trip, reward. When you snap after a provocation, reward. When you rush to comfort someone playing victim, reward. Every emotion you show them is proof their tactic works. It's fuel. It's permission to keep going. The emotion vacuum removes the reward entirely. When they push, you return nothing. No visible anger, no defensive explanation, no nervous laugh. You receive their words, register them privately, and give back only stillness. Let the silence after their jab expand until it becomes their problem, not yours. Real scenario. Someone at a family dinner makes a cutting remark about your life choices, disguised as a joke. Everyone laughs nervously, waiting to see how you react. You pick up your glass, take a slow sip, set it down, make comfortable eye contact with someone else at the table and continue the conversation you were already having. Complete vacuum. Zero reaction delivered. Watch what happens next. The person who made the remark fills the silence themselves, usually with an awkward over-explanation that exposes far more about them than it ever could about you. They handed you the grenade. You simply didn't catch it. What happens next is the part they never prepare for. Deprived of your reaction, the manipulator unravels. They repeat themselves. They push harder. They get louder. And in doing so, they expose themselves. Their insecurity, their desperation, their need to control, while you stand there, unmoved, revealing nothing. You haven't said a word. You've dismantled them completely. That's number 6, removing the fuel. But what about when they weaponize time? When they pressure you to respond, to decide, to commit before your mind is ready? Number 5 solves exactly that. Point 5. Strategic delay. Reclaim your timeline. Manipulators are addicted to urgency because speed kills awareness. They need your answer now, your reaction immediately, your commitment before you have time to think, because the moment you slow down, you see the trap. Strategic delay is one move. You decide when you respond, not them. Someone sends a loaded message, a guilt trip, a demand, an ultimatum. You wait, not to play games. Not out of spite, because your time and your mind belong to you. While you wait, they unravel. They second guess. They double message, softer. Or they lash out, which immediately tells you everything you need to know about them. Either way, you've gathered intelligence without using a single word. In person, the same principle. When someone expects an immediate response, pause. Breathe. Let 2, 3, 4 seconds sit in the room. That silence isn't emptiness. That silence is pressure, and you've just placed it entirely on them. Power never rushes. Power decides when it's ready, and when you operate on your own timeline, you signal one thing clearly: I cannot be rattled on demand. That's number 5, controlling time. But what about the manipulators who don't pressure you with urgency? They seduce you with praise. The ones who build you up just enough to own you. Number 4 flips that dynamic completely. Point 4, reward reversal. Become the source. Manipulators have 2 hooks, praise and guilt. You're so good at this. No one does it like you. After everything I've done for you, I can't believe you won't just do this one thing. One pulls your ego, the other pulls your conscience. Respond to either, and you've handed them the controls. Reward reversal flips the entire structure. You become indifferent to their validation. Their compliment gets a nod, nothing more. Their guilt trip lands without visible impact. And then, here's the move. You selectively redirect your attention to someone or something else. You become the source of acknowledgement rather than the hungry receiver of it. Real scenario: a manipulative colleague takes credit for your work in a meeting. They're waiting for you to explode or shrink. You do neither. You calmly acknowledge someone else on the team and move on, as if they weren't even a factor. No confrontation, no accusation. You've simply removed them from the center of gravity. They lose the spotlight, without a single argument taking place. That is dominance without confrontation, and it's invisible to everyone in the room, except the one person it was designed for. Here's how you build this in real life. Start noticing when you feel a pull towards someone's approval, even a small one. A compliment that makes you want to prove yourself, a slight that makes you want to earn back their warmth. Just notice it. Don't act on it. Over time, that noticing becomes a pause. That pause becomes a choice. And that choice, practiced quietly, consistently, is how you stop being someone who can be steered by flattery or guilt and become someone who moves entirely on their own terms. Do that in low-stakes moments. The colleague who fishes for reactions, the friend who uses praise to set up a favor. And by the time a real manipulator makes their move, your indifference is already built. That's number 4. But we're entering new territory now. The next 3 points go beyond technique. They require something deeper. And number 3 is where you'll discover the weapon manipulators fear most, because it works against them before they even make their move. Point 3. Ambiguity Armour. Become unreadable. Clarity makes you predictable. Predictability makes you controllable. Manipulators map your patterns. They know that guilt makes you apologize. Praise makes you soften. Withdrawal makes you chase. They know this is because you've shown them every over-explained decision, every rushed defense, every emotion worn openly. You've been handing them a map to yourself. Ambiguity Armour means you stop giving them coordinates, measured answers. No over-explaining, no filling every silence with clarification. What are you thinking? Still processing? Where do you stand? It depends how things develop. What's wrong with you today? Nothing you need to worry about. Short, calm, vague. Watch how hard they push to get a reading on you. The louder they get, the more their anxiety about losing control is showing. Not yours. Real scenario. Someone you work with has a habit of pressing you for your opinion before a group decision, then using whatever you say to position themselves. You've noticed the pattern. Next time they ask, "So what are you thinking going into this?" You give them nothing solid. Still weighing it up. Calm, neutral, finished. They probe again. You shrug slightly. We'll see how it develops. They have no coordinates. They cannot build a move around you. And for the first time, they're the one walking into the room with incomplete information, not you. Your body carries this too. Stop over-nodding. Stop leaning in eagerly. Stop filling pauses with nervous energy. Give people stillness. Give them a presence they cannot fully interpret. Here's how you train it. For the next week, practice leaving one thing unsaid in every conversation where you'd normally over-explain. Not to be cold, just to notice that you can. That the silence doesn't collapse the world. That most of the time, the other person simply moves on. That practice, repeated enough, rewires the instinct to fill silence with disclosure. And the quieter you become about your inner world, the less anyone can use it against you. When someone can't read you, they can't manipulate you. They can't build a strategy around a person they don't understand. Mystery is not coldness. Mystery is armor. That's number 3. The outer defense is built, but now, the hardest conversation in this entire video. Because number 2 is about the manipulators you cannot walk away from. The ones at home, the ones you love. And this is where most people fall apart. Point 2. The intimate shield, when the manipulator is someone you love. Everything up to this point is manageable when the manipulator is a stranger, but what do you do when it's your mother, your partner, your best friend? The person whose approval you have been quietly rebuilding yourself around for years, without ever once realizing that's what you were doing. This is where every technique fractures, because love, or what feels like love, creates a vulnerability no strategy fully reaches. And the manipulators who are closest to you know exactly how to use that. They don't threaten, they sigh, they don't lie, they distort, they don't demand, they insinuate, and leave you to do the rest. I only do this because I care about you. You're too sensitive. After everything I've sacrificed. And slowly, without a single dramatic incident to point to, you stop questioning it. You start walking on eggshells. You pre-apologize for boundaries you haven't even set yet. You have built your entire behavior around managing their emotional state, at the cost of your own. The intimate shield isn't a technique. It's a truth you finally stop running from. Proximity does not justify violation. Love does not include the right to control you through guilt or fear. And the silent move, the one that changes everything, is behavioral consistency. You say no, without a 17-point explanation. You take space, without an apology for needing it. You stop absorbing their weight, and you let the discomfort of that sit without rushing in to fix it. When they push, and they will push, You don't retaliate. You don't collapse. You remain steady. That steadiness communicates something no argument ever could. I see exactly what's been happening here. And I've decided, quietly, completely without drama, that it ends. We've made it to number 1. The most difficult, the most permanent. Everything else on this list was a tactic. This is a transformation, and if you've stayed this long, you already know you're ready. Point 1. True detachment, the power of genuine freedom. A manipulator's power has one fatal weakness. It only works if you need something from them. Their approval, their presence, their affection, the connection you've told yourself you cannot survive losing. As long as that need exists, they own the dynamic. They know it. They rely on it. They go as far as they go because they're certain you won't leave. But the moment you become someone who is genuinely willing to walk away, every tactic they have becomes worthless overnight. This is true detachment, and it is the most powerful position a human being can occupy in any relationship. This is not ghosting, not manufactured coldness, not a game. It is arriving at a real, internal truth, that your peace, your integrity, and your sense of self are non-negotiable. That no relationship, no job, no connection is worth the permanent cost of losing yourself. And to be clear, this is not the goal in a healthy relationship. In a genuinely loving dynamic, you stay because you want to, not because you need to. True detachment is not about closing yourself off from connection. It is the baseline you return to when a dynamic has become harmful. It is the quiet knowledge that you have a self worth protecting, and that protecting it is not the same as abandoning love. When you carry that truth, you don't need to announce it. It radiates. It's in the way you no longer flinch when they threaten to withdraw, the way you no longer chase explanations for their behavior, the calm in your eyes when they expected panic. You project one thing, silently, without a single word. I don't need this. I'm here because I choose to be, and I can leave just as easily. That single truth dismantles a manipulator completely, because they don't operate from genuine strength. They operate from the control that your dependence gives them. Remove the dependence, the entire structure collapses. But here is the most important thing I need you to hear, the part most people miss. You cannot fake this. You can only build it. You build it through the quiet daily work of knowing your own value, expanding your own options, training yourself to choose yourself, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it costs something. Do that work, in silence, in private, without announcing it to anyone, and you become something a manipulator was never prepared for. Someone they can't read, can't rush, can't buy, can't break. Someone who has already left, even while still standing in the room. 7 moves, no arguments, no confrontations, not a single word. Control your face, and you control the opening. Remove their reward, and you kill the game. Slow down time, and you own the pace. Redirect the spotlight, and you take the power. Build your armor, and you become unreadable. Hold steady with the ones you love, and you reclaim yourself. And finally, when you need nothing from them, they have nothing on you. The manipulators in your life are counting on one thing, that you'll keep playing the way you always have. Today, that changes. Not with a speech, not with a fight, with the quiet, unshakable decision that you are done being played. Before you go, I want you to do one thing. Think of the person this video kept making you think of. You know exactly who it is. If you want to, drop their first initial in the comments. Just the initial. Nothing else. Because I have a feeling when you scroll down and see how many other people drop that same letter, you'll realize for the first time that you are never alone in this. And that realization, that's where it starts. If this gave you something real, send it to one person who needs it. They may not know they need it yet. You do. That's why you're still here.